Hi, I'm Gord Langer from LangerCraftWorks and from Brian McEvoy's OneGoodTurn. And I'm here today to show you a drive that Brian and I and our club members have been using for many, many years. It's called the Elio Drive. One of our club members actually designed this drive many years ago, and it was time Brian McEvoy and I thought we should bring it to market because of its versatility, its ease of use, and its safety. As I said, we've used it for many years, and we brought it to market now in 3 sizes. They're zinc plated. They come in as a set of 3 or individually in 2-inch, 2.5-inch, or 3.5-inch, so you can use it for different sizes of wood. I'm just going to go over some of the features of the Elio Drive. As I said earlier, they're zinc plated. They come with 3 countersunk screws, so it can be used as a in-between centers faceplate. It comes with its own Allen key to adjust the center pin, which is easily adjustable and removable. And you might want to adjust that for different hardnesses of wood. If you're using an expensive piece of cocobolo, you'll expose less of the screws. If it's a soft piece of inexpensive wood, you might need to expose more of the pins. So I'm just going to set this one kind of in its normal position. The outside pins are also adjustable. You can adjust one, both of the pins, and this makes it extremely versatile for particularly working for natural edge bowls or burls. That's what I like using it the most for. And it can also be used for in-between spindle work. The 2-inch Elio Drive works really well for some spindle work, and the large 3.5 inches for using with very large burls. So we're just going to show a quick example of one of the many ways you can use this handy, versatile little tool. And we'll start by mounting it in the headstock. And it's a number 2 mortise taper. Fits in any of the number 2 mortise taper headstocks. Some of you may own something with a number 3 mortise taper. We've had one customer that uses a number 2 to 3 adapter and said it worked really well. But we have in fact designed this for a number 2 mortise taper headstock. I'm going to use a piece today of spalted birch. This piece is about 3 years old. I've chosen this specifically so that you can see it works in kind of punky soft wood, and it mounts really easily. I've only rough cut it to a circle on purpose so you can see how well the drive works. I've got my center hole here. I'm just going to roughly line that up to the center pin. Bring the tailstock up and tighten the tailstock to try and ensure we've got it kind of set. And we are now ready to start turning. If we can zoom in on the headstock here, you can see this is where the adjustable pins really come in handy as they match the contour of the log. Alright, we're just about ready to start rough turning this spalted birch bowl blank into a natural edge bowl. I think you'll really see the advantage of using this versatile little tool. It won't spin out on you like many of the other drives on the market. It won't start drilling into the workpiece, so one of the many reasons why we like using this drive so much. It's also very secure, and you feel quite confident that the drive is not going to drill into the blank or spin out. So let's just ensure everything's tight, ready to go, and we'll fire up the lathe. And I'm just going to turn the speed up, and we'll start rough turning this. coming off. As I said, this blank is about 3 or 4 years old. So I'm just going to take the bark off because it's not going to stay on. In a perfect world, I'd love it to stay on. It's also easy to remount this, which is a handy thing to have, which is not as easy to do on some of the other drives that are out there. So just line up our holes again. And we'll just true that up again and finish turning the blank. Now I'll just put a foot on so I can remount the blank and do my final pass. And we're ready to remount the bowl blank on a chuck. We've taken the blank off the drive, and as you can see, there's no damage to the top of the bowl blank, and as you can see, it's quite punky wood and no damage here at all. So it's if you weren't happy with the form, you could easily remount it as I did earlier when I had the bark issue. So they're a real handy, versatile drive. Alright, another great use for the Elio Drive is if you're doing any deep vessel boring, to true up a log. This big log here is about a 9 or 10 inch birch log, and it would be a great time to use the 3.5 inch. But just to show you how well the Elio Drive works, I'm going to use the 2.5 inch Elio Drive. And we'll mount it up, and I'll show you how great this tool is for truing up a log. Can you imagine? Once you see it on the lathe, you'll just be amazed how else you would do this with a spur drive as you put the spur drive into the end grain. So when you're doing any deep vessel boring, birch is a great wood to use. I just mounted it on the Elio Drive by just putting it in rough center, or where I want the center to be. Pushed in the tailstock, and I've just cut a slit in here to peel the bark off. There we go. Bark's peeled off, and now I'm going to start turning this so we can true up one edge for the deep vessel boring process. Again, it's just hanging on the Elio Drive and the tailstock. Alright, now we're just going to true up the log. I've just ensured everything's nice and tight. We've peeled the bark off, and we'll start to spin it up. rest over to get the other half, and then we'll square up the end. Alright, I'm just going to finish truing up the end now. I'm just going to turn my speed up a little bit more. There we go, and now we're ready for some deep vessel boring. Pull it off the and that's the end grain where the Elio Drive was in. No damage there at all, and I'll just cut that off and we can mount our 6-inch faceplate on here, and we're ready for some deep vessel boring. Makes this Elio Drive a truly versatile tool. As I said, we have them in all three sizes, 2, 2.5, and 3.5. The 2-inch sells for $40, the 2.5 for $45, and the 3.5 for $50, or all three for $125. They're available on our websites at www.LangerCraftWorks.com or on Brian McEvoy's website at www.OneGoodTurn.ca. I hope you try it, and I hope you enjoy using them. Thanks for your attention.